So picture me in a room just like this, sitting on that table, sobbing my eyes out to some random doctor about me not getting a high enough score on my LSAT and probably never getting into law school in my life. That's when I realized I had a really bad stress problem. But what was even worse is the doctor quickly prescribed me a really strong pharmaceutical drug for anxiety without even thinking about symptoms, or he was treating my symptoms without thinking about the root cause of my anxiety. That really worried me and I didn't fill the prescription. But when I left the doctor's office, I called my aunt from Portland, who's kind of a hippie, and I told her about my experience. And not a week later, a box of essential oils showed up at my door. And this box was unopened for a long time. And it was also the source of a lot of jokes of my roommates and I. We talked about like her magic potions that she thinks are gonna solve all my problems. So I didn't open them. But on one night, during I had a really particularly bad stress attack, I was like, well, what's the hurt? I should try it. So as for her instructions, I took lavender oil, I put it on the bottom of my feet, and I passed out that night and slept better than I had in weeks. And then I started using peppermint in a diffuser into the air, and that helped with my nausea and calmed my nerves from whenever I was studying and thinking about the test. So I noticed that the more and more that I incorporated natural healing remedies into my daily routine, the healthier I became and the more manageable my stress became. And I was raving about all these products, but I was trying to figure out why not everybody else had adopted them and was excited about them either. So I did a little research and I found out that the FDA actually has very strict marketing restrictions on how essential oils are marketed. And these different restrictions have had a lot of really severe implications on the access and popularity of essential oils in the United States. So today I'm going to explain to you the causes of those restrictions, the implications of those restrictions, and why I think we have a responsibility as U.S. consumers to pressure the FDA to try to change those restrictions so more people can benefit from essential oils. So to get to the root of the problem, no pun intended, it's important to find out what essential oils are. According to a blog on the natural health concepts, essential oils are defined as concentrated liquid botanical extracts that contain the aroma compounds of whatever plant it is. So in that way, the plant's essence is actually extracted. And they do this through a distillation process where raw plant material is on top of hot water and it's heated. And once the distillation process is complete, you can use these essential oils either topically or diffused into the air. But using plants as medicine is hardly a new concept. Humans have been doing it for several thousands of years. According to an article in The Atlantic on essential oils, some of the most popular pharmaceutical drugs actually originated from plants. For example, aspirin is derived from willow bark, the treatment for malaria from fever tree bark, and morphine from the poppy plant. Also, a lot of painkillers, such as the one I just showed you, has peppermint as the main ingredient. So how are they regulated by the FDA? Well, the issue is you can't patent a plant. They don't need to be approved by the FDA as a drug in order to be put on the market and consumed. However, that doesn't necessarily limit the FDA's influence over how they are presented on the market. According to the FDA website, under the law, essential oils are regulated depending on how they are intended to be used. The issue with this is the FDA decided to categorize essential oils as cosmetics, so you can't make a claim about a cosmetic being a health benefit. So while the FDA can't directly regulate essential oils, they can have really strict restrictions on how they are marketed. This specifically relates to the different health claims that are made. So the general rule of thumb is that according to the FDA website, natural health product marketing cannot say it's intended to treat, mitigate, or cure any disease or other health condition, even if there's substantial scientific research to back up those claims. In a 2014 article in the Washington Examiner, the essential oil company called doTERRA, which are these different oils right here, caught the attention of the FDA because they were selling hundreds of different oils, such as lavender, frankincense, and a digestion one. And they were making claims that these different oils were having really great impacts, such as boosting your immune system and helping with digestion, and even promoting mental clarity. So you're probably wondering what is at stake with the way that these essential oils are regulated right now. There are a few things. So the first is many essential oil users have had such great benefits from them that they've actually started trading out normal over-the-counter drugs for essential oils. And because they find that there are less side effects and cheaper costs. But the issue is the progress of the essential oils industry comes at the cost of the pharmaceutical industry. So in an effort to halt this progress, the pharmaceutical industry is trying to silence essential oil companies, and they published warnings about the potential toxicity of essential oils. But according to the American Association of Poison Control, the deaths due to unapproved essential oils is 0, while the deaths due to FDA-approved prescription drugs is over 212,000 in only a 2-year span. Something else that's at stake is because the benefits of essential oils are not only for humans, they're also for animals. By restricting them, we're also harming animals. So first, scientists and farmers have actually been teaming up recently to see how plants can benefit their animals' health. And one of the issues is that because a lot of antibiotics are facing drug or bacteria that's becoming increasingly resistant, they're using essential oils paired up with antibiotics, and it's actually creating the same amount of growth in chickens in a certain study. And they've also shown proof that it can help with salmonella in chickens. And in a 2012 March study in the Journal of Animal Science, the results showed that rosemary and oregano oil actually proved to have the same growth, and at a much cheaper cost. Dr. Nicole Parrish from the Johns Hopkins University explained that while these results are very promising, a lot more experimentation and research is necessary, but it's also very expensive, and that investment's not going to come from the mainstream pharmaceutical company industry. An article in the Union Democrat explains that because drugs that are approved by the FDA must have undergone extensive research, this comes at the cost of essential oil companies because they can't afford to do that, and so their access to them is really severely limited. So right now, I work at a Canadian-based essential oil company that is just spreading to the United States. And in Canada, they don't have the same FDA regulations, and so they can market their essential oils freely and make whatever claims that they want to. And so every day I see how the Canadian company has to relate to stores that are here in the US and how you maneuver around those restrictions. So I was interviewing one of my coworkers, Megan, and she's an aromatherapist, and she's been certified in essential oils. And one of our first days of training, she explained to me that the words that we use when we're talking to different community members who come into our store are crucial because they can get us in a lot of trouble with the FDA. So one of the products is for jet lag. And so in Canada, you could say to a customer, here, try this oil, it's really great for jet lag. But in the US, we have to say something more along the lines of, in Canada, this product was originally formulated to help with the side effects of travel. So it makes it really convoluted and ambiguous when you're trying to sell products. And as an essential oil company, we have to stay on our very best behavior in order to obtain the goodwill of the FDA. So how can you get involved? The first way, you can attend a holistic wellness seminar, and these are often held at local essential oil stores. And we have one right in Malibu that offers discounts to Pepperdine students, and they hold free seminars where they teach you how to use essential oils responsibly and the different uses you can have for them. The next is you can do what all of you probably do best and go to social media and talk about your successes using essential oils. Because the distributors have such strict restrictions, it's not regulated when you talk about how you've been successful with them. And lastly, you can donate to different essential oil companies that source their plants from small farms. And when these small farms globally get certified to be organic or vegan, they also are in a better light with the FDA, and that's an important way to progress these restrictions. And there are a couple ways to donate. You can go to the Young Living website or the Sage website. It's whatever store is closest to you. So modern Western medicine is only about 100 years old, but plant-based medicine has been going on since the beginning of time. yet somehow we keep calling plant-based medicine as alternative medicine. It's kind of interesting. But I urge all of you to take the initiative to promote creativity in the medical sciences so that medicine, whether it be created in the lab or grown from the earth, is equally regulated and different people have access. As the Greek physician Hippocrates once said, where the study of medicine is loved, there is a love for humanity. Thank you.